Alam nyo, every time I read this letter to my class, nung live session pa, no, nung face-to-face interaction pa, it never fails. Laging merong mga estudyante na iiyak from this letter, and I think I know the reason why. Kasi kung babasahin mo yung sulat, talagang mararamdaman mo that this letter came straight from the heart of someone who is getting old. Kaya yung mga sinasabi niya dito sa letter, no, yung mga karanasan niya sa pagtanda, tugmang-tugma eh. Gets na gets mo kung ano yung nararamdaman ng isang matanda. Hello! So, the last chapter na pag-uusapan natin ngayon on the human life is called the old age. Bakit ba ito tinawag na last chapter? Obviously, because this is the stage na wala na siyang kasunod pang stage. Compared to the past stages na dinidiscuss natin in this series, lagi silang merong next stage, di ba? Merong next stage yung prenatal period, merong next stage yung infancy, merong next stage yung childhood, so on and so forth. But it is only during old age na masasabi natin wala na siyang next stage. Kasi after ng old age, ang next na mangyayari niyan is obviously death. So we can consider that in developmental psychology, ito na talaga yung last chapter of the human life. In the Bible, meron akong paboritong passage that talks about old age. Psalms chapter 90 verse 10 says, "The years of our life are 70, or even by reason of strength 80. Yet their span is but toil and trouble. They are soon gone, and we fly away." Napaka-amazing nung verse na ito kasi naging specific yung passage into the number of years na kaya lang ng human life. Ang sabi dito, 70, or even by reason of strength, ibig sabihin kung bibigyan ka ng konti pang blessing, maximum of 80. Although there are people who live beyond 80, we are talking about average. In average, karamihan ng mga tao sa old age hanggang 80 years old lang talaga yung kinakaya. And one more thing na talagang napaka-amazing from the passage other than yung kanyang specificity in the number of years, no? Yung kanyang accuracy in describing what happens during old age. Sabi dito, "Yet their span is but toil and trouble." So kapag nandun ka na raw sa 70s or 80s, you will experience toil and trouble. In fact, yung toil and trouble na yan, ito yung mga senyales that you will soon be gone, that you will soon fly away. Okay, so yan yung general description ng Bible in old age. But let me just tell this to you, no? Hindi lang puro negative things yung nangyayari during old age. As you will see later as we go along this video, we should not expect everything to be negative in old age. Although the Bible is correct when it tells us to expect toil and trouble, hindi naman 100% ng nangyayari sa katandaan, puro na lang negative. So mamaya pag-uusapan din natin yung pangbalanse, meron din tayo mga positive things to expect when someone gets old. So let's do this mental exercise. I would like you to think of someone you know in your life right now na masasabi mong matanda na. By the way, paano mo malalaman if you are already in old age? Susundan natin yung batas na senior citizen. So kapag sinabi mong senior citizen ka na, age 60, then we can say that you are already in old age. In some textbooks, dinidivide pa nila yung old age into 3 categories. Meron silang young old, meron silang middle old, and old. And then, in different textbooks, iba-iba sila ng pagdidivide ng ages dyan, no? Like, for example, yung young old from age 60 to around 75, middle old is from age 76 to around age 84, and old is from 85 and up. Again, different textbooks will have different ways on dividing yung mga sub-stages ng old age. Pero nagsisimula talaga yan at age 60. So, I would like you to recall someone or picture someone in your life right now na kilala mo who is in old age. And then I would like you to describe them, shortly describe them in terms of their physical health or physical status or condition. yung kanilang cognitive condition, paano sila mag-isip, paano sila mag-process ng information. Anong napapansin nyo sa mga emotions ng mga matatanda? How do they express their emotions? How do they manage their emotions? And of course, yung kanilang social life, paano ba nag-i-interact yung mga matatanda sa ibang mga tao? So by doing this mental exercise, it will give you a glimpse kung ano ba ang buhay, kung ano ba yung psychological life ng isang tao who is already in old age, yung mga karanasan ng mga matatanda. Okay? Actually, if you read the Bible, maraming mga passages na nagpapakita or passages that give us clues kung ano ba yung mga general experiences ng mga matatanda. In the book of Psalms, chapter 71, verse 9, sabi dito ni David, "Do not cast me away when I am old. Do not forsake me when my strength is gone." Anong dapat mong asahan dito? Your strength will be gone. Kaya nga sa prayer niya dito, humihingi siya ng tulong kay God na huwag siyang i-forsake kasi alam niya at old age, mawawala yung kanyang strength. In Proverbs chapter 17, verse 6, "Grandchildren are the crown of old men, and the glory of sons is their fathers." Isa sa mga highlights ng experience ng isang matanda is none other than grandparenting, no? And according to this passage, having grandchildren can be considered a crown for old men. So meron ding positive experience in old age. Isa na nga dyan yung pagiging grandparent. And I'm sure a lot of grandparents who may be listening to this will agree na isa sa mga positive things na mangyayari o nangyayari sa kanila at this point of their life is taking care of their grandchildren. So, again, we can see here na ang old age, it's a series of gains and losses. Hindi lang siya puro losses. Kasi sa kultura natin, meron tayong parang ganyang thinking or notion that you lose everything in old age. Nawawala na yung iyong lakas, nawawala na yung iyong sensory efficiencies, lumalabo na yung mata, humihina na yung panlasa. Although again, these are all true. Talaga namang mangyayari yan, but tatandaan natin that it's not all losses in old age. Meron ka ring gains. Meron ding mga positive things na nangyayari during old age. Kasi nagiging problema ito, a lot of people napaka-negative ng tingin sa old age. Diba? That's why a lot of people are afraid. Baka nga makakontribute pa yan sa midlife crisis ng tao, no? Dahil they are expecting a lot of negative things in old age. Nakakadagdag yan sa kanilang pangamba sa pagtanda. But if we learn to understand, if we learn to balance our perspective on old age, merong maganda, meron din naman mga losses, mas magiging accurate yung pananaw natin sa old age, or maybe mas magiging excited pa tayo na tumanda when we have a complete picture of what does it mean to grow old. And so yan yung magiging goal ng video natin ngayon, no? The main goal of this video is to help you really have a complete perspective of what it means to grow old. Yung hindi lang puro negative, ipepresenta rin natin dito yung mga gains o yung mga positives na nangyayari when somebody gets old. So our goals for this video is very simple. Number 1, we will understand the psyche of an old person. And number 2, how to grow old gracefully. O, ibig sabihin ng gracefully, paano ba tumanda na positibo? Kasi marami mga tao, ang pagtanda nila in a negative way, no? Puro sila sakit, marami silang nararamdaman na pain, marami sa mga old people malungkot, no? So we don't like to live this world in that kind of tone. Gusto natin, kapag iniwan natin yung mundo, of course, we would like to be a very positive person. And the good news is, developmental psychology is able to identify kung ano ba yung mga factors na pwede nating magawa for us to age gracefully para maging maganda yung ating pagtanda. So those are our 2 goals. Let's start with number 1. Let's now understand the psyche of an old person. Ano ba talaga yung general na pinagdaraanan ng spirito ng isang tao who is already in old age? Kinakailangan para maintindihan natin to, pasukin natin yung karanasan ng isang matanda. And to do this, meron akong nakita sa internet na isang entry, very touching entry of a letter, isang sulat na sinulat ng isang matanda sa kanyang daughter. If I'm not mistaken, kung babasahin mo yung letter, as you will see later, no, sinulat ito ng isang matanda sa kanyang daughter para maiparamdam o maipakita ng matandang ito kung ano ba yung mga general na pinagdaraanan ng mga matatanda, so that the daughter can better understand the behaviors of the dad. So ang gagawin ko ngayon is I'm going to read to you this letter written by the father to his daughter. So the title of the letter is Tatay. And then, ano sabi ni Tatay? Let me read for you. Mahal kong anak, kumusta ka na? Alam kong abalang-abala ka sa buhay mo ngayon. Sa araw-araw nating pagsasama sa bahay, nakikita ko sa iyong muka ang pagod at puyat na nararamdaman mo dahil sa pagtatrabaho at pag-aalaga ng iyong mga anak. Bihira na lang tayo mag-usap kaya ako'y sumulat na lang para iparating sa iyo ang mga bagay na nais ko sanang personal na sabihin. Sana'y magkaroon ka ng panahon na mabasa ang maikli kong sulat para sa iyo. Anak, alam kong napapagod ka sa pang-araw-araw mong buhay. Kaya naman minsan umiinit din ang ulo mo sa mga tao sa paligid. Minsan nga, pati ako napag-iinitan mo rin ang ulo. Minsan nasisigawan mo ako. Kinawawaan ko ang aking sarili kapag ako'y iyong sinisigawan. Kapag mahina na ang tenga ko at hindi ko na maintindihan ang sinasabi mo, huwag mo sana akong sabihan ng bingi. Pakiulit na lang ang sinasabi mo o kaya ay pakisulat na lang. Pasensya ka na anak, matanda na talaga ako, mahina na ang pandinig. Kapag mahina na ang tuhod ko, pagtiyagaan mo sana akong tulungan tumayo, tulad ng pag-alalay ko sa iyo noong nag-aaral ka pa lamang maglakad. Pagpasensyahan mo na rin ako kung minsan ako'y makulit, na paulit-ulit na lang ang sinasabi na parang sirang plaka. Basta anak, pakinggan mo na lang ako. Huwag mo sana akong pagtawanan o pagsawa ang pakinggan. Natatandaan mo ba noong bata ka pa, kapag gusto mo ng lobo, paulit-ulit mong sinasabi at buong araw kang mangungulit hanggang sa makuha mo ang gusto mo. Pinagtiyagaan ko ang kakulitan mo dahil mahal kita. Pagpasensyahan mo na rin ang aking amoy matanda na, amoy lupa na. Huwag mo sana akong piliting maligo. Mahina na ang katawan ko at madaling magkasakit kapag nalalamigan. Huwag mo sana akong pandirihan anak. Naalala mo pa ba noong bata ka? Pinagtsatsagaan kitang habulin sa ilalim ng kama kapag ayaw mong maligo. Pagpasensyahan mo na rin ako kung minsan ako'y masungit. Dala lang ito ng katandaan. Alam mo kapag matanda ka na, maiintindihan mo rin ako. Kapag may konti kang panahon, magkwentuhan naman tayo. Please anak, nainip ako sa bahay. Maghapon ako mag-isa at walang kausap. Alam kong abala ka sa iyong trabaho, ngunit sabik na ako makakwentuhan ka kahit alam kong hindi ka interesado sa mga kwento ko. Naalala mo pa ba dati anak, pinakinggan ko at inintindi ang mga utal-utal mong kwento tungkol sa mga kalaro mo dahil mahal kita. At kapag ako'y magkasakit sa hinaharap, huwag ka sana magsawa na ako'y alagaan. Pasensya ka na kung minsan ako'y maihi o madumi sa higaan. Pagtiyagaan mo sana akong alagaan sa mga huling sandali ng aking buhay, total naman, hindi na ako magtatagal. At pag dumating na ang panahon na ako'y papanaw na, hawakan mo sana ang aking mga kamay. Bigyan mo ako ng lakas ng loob na harapin ang kamatayan. Huwag kang mag-alala anak. Kapag nakaharap ko na ang Diyos, ibubulong ko sa Kanya na pagpalain at alagaan ka dahil ikaw ay naging mapagmahal sa iyong Ama. Nagmamahal, Tatay. Alam nyo, every time I read this letter to my class, nung live session pa, nung face-to-face interaction pa, it never fails. Laging merong mga estudyante na iiyak from this letter, and I think I know the reason why. Kasi kung babasahin mo yung sulat, talagang mararamdaman mo that this letter came straight from the heart of someone who is getting old. Kaya yung mga sinasabi niya dito sa letter, no, yung mga karanasan niya sa pagtanda, tugmang-tugma eh. Gets na gets mo kung ano yung nararamdaman ng isang matanda. So from this letter, pag-usapan na natin yung mga specific events na nangyayari sa isang taong tumatanda. Let's start with the physical. Physical development in old age. People in old age, they experience senescence. Ibig sabihin ng senescence, based on the picture, ito na yung sunset, the decline of physical functions. Lahat ng physical functioning ng isang matanda, bumababa na, nagde-decline na. Ibang-iba ito sa adolescence. Diba? If you remember adolescence, you are in transition from childhood to adulthood. And in that transition, ang nangyayari, yung mga physical functioning mo, pataas. Diba? Papunta doon sa peak of your physical health as you enter young adulthood. So, kumbaga, sa adolescence, nagsa-sunrise yun. Diba? Dito, matanda ka na, nagsa-senescence ka na, nagsa-sunset ka na. Nagde-decline na yung mga physical functioning mo. And again, going back to what David wrote in the book of Psalms, diba? Tugmang-tugma yung sinabi niya. Do not cast me away when I'm old. Do not forsake me when my strength is gone. Basically, lahat ng parte ng katawan mo, nawawala na talaga yung strength. Nandiyan na yung humihina yung muscles mo, yung iyong breathing o yung paghinga, nahihirapan ka na rin. It has something to do with the maturity of your lungs. Yung lungs kasi habang tumatanda, nababawasan daw yung kanyang elasticity, therefore, mas konti yung oxygen o yung hangin na kaya niyang i-handle. Kaya, isang epekto niya, nahihirapan huminga yung mga matatanda. Number 3, lumalabas na rin yung mga sakit sa puso. In fact, in one survey, napag-alaman nila one of the leading causes of death among people in old age would be heart problems. Bumabagsak na rin yung mga accuracy of your senses. Yung 5 senses mo, unti-unting humihina yan. Nabibingi na, lumalabo yung mata, nawawala yung panlasa, nawawala na rin yung sense of touch ng mga matatanda, no? And of course, the most important part of the body na talaga namang nagde-decline yung performance is none other than the brain. It is known during old age na yung brain talaga ay gumagaan. Gumagaan yung brain. And what explains that? Namamatay kasi yung mga brain cells nung brain. Unti-unti. So yung healthy brain cells of the brain, no? Kapag namatay yan, ang epekto niyan, gumagaan talaga yung brain at meron yang epekto. When the death of the healthy brain cells become uncontrollable, masyado nang mabilis, masyado nang marami, especially at starting age 90 and up, no? Dito na nagkakaroon ng dementia. Ibig sabihin lang ng dementia, ito yung matinding cognitive decline. Yung mga skills mo, mga intellectual skills mo na okay pa noon, unti-unti nang nagde-decline ngayon. And this can be explained by, again, the aging brain. Namamatay na yung mga healthy brain cells, and so as a result, nakaka-experience ka ng dementia. And by the way, dementia is a very broad term. I would say it is an umbrella term. Maraming klase ng dementia, pero what do they have in common? Lahat ng klase ng dementia, kahit anong klaseng dementia pa yan, ang common denominator lang is nagkakaroon ng cognitive decline. Yung mga intellectual skills natin like our ability to recognize things, our ability to memorize, our ability to recall names, lahat yun nababawasan. Lahat yun humihina. So, ang pinakasikat na dementia during old age, yung talagang very publicized ito, no? Yung Alzheimer's disease. You have to remember na ang Alzheimer's disease, it is a disease of the brain. So, it is a biological disease, hindi siya psychological. Kapag sinabi mo na yung isang tao, merong Alzheimer's disease, merong nangyayari sa brain niya in the biological level. And what is that? Going back to what I was saying a while ago, yung iyong healthy brain cells, masyadong mabilis ang pagkamatay. Kaya unti-unti yung brain ng isang tao na merong Alzheimer's disease, unti-unti talaga siyang lumiliit. In fact, if you can see the picture, no? This is the brain of an old person na walang Alzheimer's disease. This is the brain of a person, yun nasa kaliwa, of an old person who died of Alzheimer's disease. So, kitang-kita nyo yung difference ng quality of the brain. The brain, on the left, kita nyo yung mga malalaking spaces na yan, dati-rate, pinaliligiran yan ng mga healthy brain cells. But because of Alzheimer's disease, those healthy brain cells have all died. So, kaya naman talaga pag may Alzheimer's ka, yung brain mo gumagaan. And by the way, kapag ikaw na-diagnose ng Alzheimer's disease, ang estimate ng mga doctor dyan, you still have 8 years to live. 8 years to live. So, 8 years, araw-araw, yung healthy brain cells mo, mabilis ang pagkamatay, gumagaan yung brain mo, kaya nagkakaroon ka ng mga cognitive decline. Now, there are a lot of things we know about Alzheimer's disease, so wala tayong enough time to discuss everything, but I would like to share to you 2 things about Alzheimer's. Number 1, it's very hard to predict kung sino ang magkakaroon ng Alzheimer's. In fact, wala raw kasiguraduhan yan no, hindi walang malinaw na profile kung sino yung mga tao na magde-develop ng Alzheimer's disease later on. So ibig sabihin ito, kahit sino merong tsansa na magkaroon ng Alzheimer's disease. Walang pinipili, lalaki, babae, teacher, or construction worker, or basta kahit ano pang trabaho mo. Habang tumatanda ka, tumataas yung chance na magkakaroon ka ng Alzheimer's disease. But this is very interesting. Based on one study, yung nakikita nyo sa screen, meron palang genetic basis ang Alzheimer's disease. For example, sabi nila kapag meron kang parent na na-diagnose ng Alzheimer's disease, or maybe both parents were diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease as an offspring, bilang anak, mataas yung chance mo na pagtanda mo, magkakaroon ka rin ng Alzheimer's disease. Kasi nakita nila yan sa genetic level ng mga tao may Alzheimer's, no? Na kapag meron silang ganung genetic element, I forgot the name, but every time they see that something in the genes of a person, most likely that person kapag tumanda, nagkakaroon ng Alzheimer's disease. Okay, so yan ang isa sa mga bagay na mahalagang malaman about Alzheimer's, meron siyang genetic basis. So again, if you have a parent or even grandparents diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, genetically speaking, mas mataas ang chance mo na magkakaroon ka rin ng Alzheimer's disease when you grow older. And one more thing about Alzheimer's is wala ditong gamot. The best thing we can do kapag meron tayong pasyente na may Alzheimer's is to give them medications, mga gamot, that will slow down the progression of Alzheimer's. Slow down. Pero walang gamot para mawala ang Alzheimer's. The best we could do, babagalin lang natin yung progression ng Alzheimer's disease. That's why this is a very devastating and scary disease, no? Not to mention, mahirap mag-alaga ng isang taong may Alzheimer's. Hindi lang siya physically tiring, it is also emotionally tiring, lalong-lalo na kapag yung nagsasuffer ng Alzheimer's is someone close to you. Let's say your parent or your grandparent, tapos makikita mo yung mga pinagdaraanan niya, no, yung mga symptoms ng Alzheimer's, it's very hard to accept emotionally. Like for example, it's so hard to accept the fact na yung nanay mo o yung tatay mo hindi ka nakilala. 'Di ba? I mean, you used to be very close. Pero dahil may Alzheimer's siya, yung brain niya nag-shrink, yung ability niya to recognize people nawawala na rin in the last stages of the disease. Masakit 'yan pakinggan, masakit 'yan maranasan. Can you imagine yung mommy mo o yung daddy mo all of a sudden out of nowhere sabihin sa iyo, itatanong sa iyo kung sino ka. 'Di ba? So, yan yung mga difficulty talaga sa pag-handle ng Alzheimer's disease. So, what can we say about physical aging during old age? Meron bang paraan para maiwasan yung ganitong decline in our physical health? The answer is wala. Walang paraan para totally hindi mag-age yung katawan mo. Habang tumatanda tayo, as we spend more time here on earth, ang katawan natin talaga patanda ng patanda. But the good news is, meron namang mga ways on how to minimize the effects. Walang way para mawala yung effect of aging. Pero merong way to minimize para mabawasan yung effects of physical aging. Dalawang factors daw yan. Number 1, diet, and number 2, physical activity. Pero meron lang akong gustong i-emphasize dito. Kailan ka magda-diet? Kailan ka mag-undergo ng physical activity? During your younger years. Hindi pwedeng sasabihin mong dahil 60 na ako, magda-diet na ako. Dahil 60 na ako, mag-exercise na ako. That is already late. According to studies, mas na pepreno o mas nadidelay yung physical aging ng tao during old age kapag na-experience niya yung cumulative effects of diet and physical activity during the younger years. So, ibig sabihin, parang namumuhunan ka na during your younger years pagdating mo ng old age. Yung mga ibang tao na nasa old age, bakit mabagal yung kanilang pagtanda? Bakit kahit matanda na sila, hindi sila mukhang matanda? Malakas pa rin yung pangangatawan nila because of steady discipline discipline in diet and exercise during their younger years. Kumbaga, they are now reaping the benefits of their diet and exercise discipline during their younger years in old age. So, yung epekto sa kanila, yung benefits sa kanila, hindi ganun kabilis yung pagtanda nila. Kaya, one lesson that I would like you to learn here is, if you want to have a very good health during your old age, alam nyo, ang tamang oras ng pagsisimula yan is right now. Ngayon pa lang, kahit nasa anong developmental stage ka pa, you need to start living healthy at this moment. Proper diet, proper exercise, para pagdating mo ng old age, malakas pa rin ang katawan mo. Okay, so wag kang magsisimula ng old age bago mo gawin yung dalawang yan, that will already be late. And one more thing na may kinalaman sa physical aging is the sex life of people in old age is still very important. Kaya nga sinasabi ko dito sa slide, no, stop the stigma. Kasi meron tayong stigma in our society na kapag matanda na, wala na dapat silang interest sa sex, wala na sila dapat sexual attraction, hindi na sila dapat nagkaka-crush o umiibig pa kasi matatanda na sila. But, you know, tulad nga na sinabi ko, this should not be the case. Kasi ang sex life or ang romantic life ng isang tao, yung sexual needs ng isang tao, tuloy-tuloy yan hanggang sa pagtanda. You know, in fact, there was this one medical journal na nabasa ko na babasahin ko sa inyo, no? Sorry, typographical ito. Hindi to excerpt, no? Excerpt from a medical journal. So, nag-copy-paste ako ng ibang mga parts of that journal article to read to you. Okay, para patunayan na importante talaga ang sex life sa mga matatanda. Okay? Ang sabi dito, Louis Wellborn of Atlanta, Georgia, age 73, believes deeply in the benefits of good sex at any age. Guess what? Any age. That includes old age. Sex keeps you active and alive. I think it's as healthy as it can be. In fact, I know it. That's what kept my husband alive for so long when he was sick. You see, so sex is even healthy, or it can have benefits in terms of health. We had excellent sex and any kind at any time of the day that we wanted. After grieving for several years over her husband's death from Alzheimer's in 1997, Wellborn began a new relationship with a man in his 80s. Duruin mo yun, 80s na. They occasionally have sex, but mostly they enjoy each other's company, she says. He wants so badly to have an erection, but it's hard for him. Well, that's very understandable given na 80s na itong si lalaki. It might be the heart medication he's taking that causes the problems. Side effects pala yun nung gamot na iniinom niya, because he's a very virile man. So we just have sex in a different way. I don't mind it at all. And we're also very affectionate. He says it's so nice to wake up next to me. O, diba? Ang sweet nung linyang yun, no? Her mastectomy, ibig sabihin surgical removal of the breast, 2 years ago after contracting breast cancer, hasn't changed her self-image as a sexual being. Tama naman yan, hindi naman talaga dapat. Primarily because Wellborn has had a lifelong positive attitude towards sexuality. Her experience bolsters experts' contention that patterns of sexuality are set earlier in life. Hindi lang siya pang early life, yung sexual patterns, no? O yung sexual behaviors. They also note that the biological changes associated with aging are less pronounced and sexuality is less affected if sexual activity is constant throughout life. Wellborn and her husband were deeply in love, she says. After the children left home and her husband retired, the couple had more freedom to express their sexuality. She says that she and her husband had sex 3 to 4 times a week when the children live at home. Once they were alone, they made love almost every day. I expect to make love as long as I can, she says. I see no reason not to, and I see all kinds of reason why I should. If you've had a good loving man and a good sexual life, you'll miss it terribly if you stop. I've had everything from cancer operation to shingles, and I'm still sexually active. A clear majority of men and women aged 45 and up say a satisfying sexual relationship is important to the quality of life. According to a survey by AARP, ito yung American Association of Retired Persons. So, mahalaga pala ang sexual relationship in any point in life, no? Oo. It increases the quality of life, especially during this age range. Among 45 to 59-year-olds with sexual partners, some 56% said they had sexual intercourse once a week or more. Among 60 to 70-year-olds with partners, 46% of men and 38% of women have sex at least once a week, as did 34% of those 70 or older. No? Matataas pa rin yung mga porsyentong yan, ha? 46%, 38%, 34%, matataas yan. Similar findings emerge in a survey conducted by NCOA, National Council on the Aging. The study found that nearly half of all Americans aged 60 or over, mga senior citizens, have sex at least once a month, and that nearly half also wanted to have sex more frequently. Another finding, people find their mates more physically attractive over time. See? Again, yung point lang ng excerpt na binasa ko from the medical journal is, kahit matanda na, meron pa rin sexual needs. Itigil natin yung stigma o yung belief, yung paniniwala na kapag matanda na, hindi na dapat nakikipag-sex. Kapag matanda na, wala na dapat love life yan. Dapat puro na lang simba yan. Wrong. Although, importante rin ang pagsimba, pero wag nating kalilimutan that we are a sexual being until the day we die. Na ang mga matatanda, meron pa rin silang mga sexual needs. Meron pa rin silang mga intimacy needs. That's why abroad, yung mga hospices, yung mga nursing homes ng mga matatanda, if I'm not mistaken, may mga hospices talagang pinangahalagahan nila yung idea na ito that they give old people privacy in those hospices. Meron talaga silang mga specific rooms there where old people can choose to be intimate with each other. Kasi nga, they are acknowledging the idea or the fact that old people needs sexual intimacy even at old age. Okay? So, itigilan natin yung paniniwala na kapag matanda na, wala na dapat pakialam sa sex or intimacy. It is our need as long as we are alive. Alright? Okay, so let's now go to cognitive development. Ano ba yung mga bagay na nangyayari sa pag-iisip ng isang taong matanda? Yun yung cognitive development. Una, memory. Siyempre, as expected, pumapalya na yung memory ng mga matatanda, especially episodic memory. Diba? Ibig sabihin ng episodic memory, yung mga memories of what happened in the past. Saan sila nag-meet ng asawa niya, saan sila pumunta ng graduation, no? Ano yung mga activities na ginagawa ng family tuwing Christmas, anong bansa na yung mga pinuntahan nila. Usually, yung recollection ng mga matatanda medyo humihina na. In fact, one common experience na nakikita ako sa mga matatanda, napaghahalo-halo nila yung mga events, no? Yung nangyari sa isang year, nahalo nila sa nangyari sa isa pang year. Oo. So, very common yan among people in old age. Tumataas din yung kanilang tip of the tongue. Ibig sabihin yung meron silang word na hinahanap na hindi nila masabi yung exact term pero alam nila yung word. Dumadalas yung pagtitip of the tongue nila. They also have slower recognition skills. Yung nalilimutan nila yung pangalan ng tao. They remember the face. They are sure they know the person, pero nalilimutan nila yung pangalan ng taong yun. So, lahat ng ito na sinasabi ko, no, ito ay, ang dahilan nito, yung aging brain. Again, remember, during this time, dumadami yung mga namamatay na healthy brain cells as we grow older. And so, as a result, dahil sa pagkamatay ng mga brain cells na yon, humihina o pumapalya yung ating mga memories during this time. When you talk about cognitive development in old age, sikat na sikat dito yung pag-aaral na ginawa sa mga Mankato nuns. Yung mga Mankato nuns, by the way, Mankato, it is actually a place somewhere in Minnesota. Meron doong parang isang nursing home na punong-puno ng mga madre, no? Yung mga madre na ito, they agreed. Pumipirma sila ng mga kontrata wherein they are agreeing or they are donating their brains to be studied after they die. And a lot of these nuns are actually centenarians. Talagang umaabot sila ng 90s to 100s, no? So, to make the long story short, kaya nila dinodonate yung brain nila for science, para mapag-aralan natin kung ano ba yung mga nangyayari sa brain kapag nagiging ganun katanda na yung tao. And because of this project, because of the voluntarism of these nuns, naging marami tayong alam tungkol sa cognitive aging at pati na rin sa Alzheimer's disease. Marami tayong mga bagong nalaman kung ano ba yung nature ng Alzheimer's disease, so on and so forth. short, pero we don't have enough time to discuss all those things that they discovered from the Mankato nuns. Bibigyan ko lang kayo ng isa. Based on many researches sa mga utak ng mga nuns na ito, ang isa sa mga findings is the brain follows a use it or lose it principle. Ibig sabihin ng use it or lose it principle, yung pag-decline ng ating pag-iisip o yung cognitive decline natin mas bumabagal kapag mas ginagamit natin yung brain natin. Going back to the Mankato nuns, di ba? Marami sa kanila, meron na silang full-blown Alzheimer's disease. As in, they were diagnosed. Pero kung titignan mo yung kanilang cognitive performance, kung titignan mo yung kanilang everyday activity, parang wala silang Alzheimer's. And the secret is, bakit? Bakit hindi nagmamanifest yung symptoms ng Alzheimer's? Because the Mankato nuns kept on using their intellectual skills. Diba? So, gamit sila ng brains nila, basa sila ng basa, gawa sila ng gawa ng mga different activities, nakikipag-usap sila sa mga tao, so laging na-exercise yung brain. And as a result, yung brain, nakaka-cope up siya sa demands ng Alzheimer's disease. In fact, merong theory dyan, no? The more na ginagamit mo yung brain mo, mas dumadami, mas nagre-regenerate yung mga brain cells mo. Kaya kahit merong namamatay na mga brain cells because of your Alzheimer's, pero the fact na lagi mo namang ginagamit yung brain mo, nagre-regenerate ka ng mga bago, parang nagka-cancel each other out lang yung mga namamatay na healthy brain cells compared to the formation of new brain cells. So, yan yung isa sa mga talagang big findings of the Mankato nuns research. Our brain follows a use it or lose it principle. So to answer the question, what maintains a healthy mind during old age? Anong kailangan mong gawin para hindi ka maka-experience ng matinding cognitive decline? Kinakailangan kahit matanda ka na, patuloy mo pa rin ginagamit yung iyong utak. Kinakailangan busy ka pa rin sa pag-iisip. Kaya alam nyo, maraming mga developmental psychologists nagsasabi, it's not a good idea to officially retire. Ibig sabihin, hindi maganda na yung isang matanda nasa bahay na lang at walang ginagawa, paugoy-ugoy na lang sa kanyang duyan, at nag-aantay na lang sila na mawala sa mundo. That is not a good practice. If you want to maintain your intellectual performance as an old person, ang dapat mong gawin lagi mong ginagamit yung iyong pag-iisip para nagre-regenerate yung mga brain cells mo na maintain mo yung iyong intellectual skills. During this time, yung mga taong mga matatanda, we can say, yung kanilang expertise, na maintain. Okay? Ibig sabihin, yung kanilang craft, yung kanilang profession, kung saan sila naroon, kung tinuloy-tuloy nila yun, dito nila na-achieve yung tinatawag nating grandmaster level. Talagang sobrang expert na sila sa field nila. Because of the many experiences they have been through, pagdating nila ng old age, halos lahat ng problema sa field nila, nakita na nila, naranasan na nila, at nagawa na nila ng solusyon, which makes them experts in the field. Kaya alam nyo, kung titignan nyo yung mga different experts in different fields, makikita nyo na karamihan sa kanila ang age range 60s and up. Talagang hindi mo na sila maloloko, hindi mo na sila mapapaikot-ikot in their respective fields because, again, they have been there before. Ano sabi nila? Been there, done that, It happens during old age. Kaya marami talaga mga experts, mga grandmaster level ang skill when it comes to old age. And in relation to this, during old age then, tumataas yung level of wisdom. So not only nagiging expert sila or grandmaster sila sa kanilang field, tumataas din yung kanilang level of wisdom. Their ability to discern what is true, right, or lasting, or their insight, kung paano ang tamang pamumuhay, ano yung tamang desisyon, ano yung maling desisyon. Halos lahat ng mga tao in old age punong-puno ng wisdom. Again, saan nanggaling wisdom nila? From experience. Kaya nga yung experience talaga, this is the number one producer of wisdom. By the way, iba yung wisdom sa knowledge. Although they are related, knowledge can lead to wisdom, but not all people who are knowledgeable have wisdom. Yung wisdom talaga, nabubuo lang yan kapag marami kang mga experience na pinagdaanan at naproseso mo ng maayos, nakapag-reflect ka ng maayos dun sa mga experiences mo, kaya ka nagkaroon ng wisdom. And who are these people who are more likely to have wisdom? And yung mga taong matatanda na. Yan yung isang bagay na nagigain nila during old age. Remember? Sinabi ko kanina, hindi puro wala. Hindi puro decline ang nangyayari during old age. Meron ding tumataas. Meron din tayong nagigain. And one of those things that we gain during old age is yung tinatawag nga nating wisdom. Kaya nga 'di ba yung sa Jungian psychology, no? Ano yung archetype ng wisdom? Kapag sinabi mong wisdom, sino yung taong may wisdom? Usually, the archetype is the wise old man. Yung nakikita nyo dyan, di ba? Kapag nakakita ka ng ganyan, no? Mahaba buhok, puti, nakasalamin, mahaba balbas, puti rin yung balbas, di ba? Parang ang tali-talino niya. And true enough, most people in old age, because of their experiences in the past, halos lahat na pagdaanan na nila, nakabuo sila ng wisdom. And in the Bible, naging accurate na naman ang Bible dito. In Job 12:12, anong sabi? Is not wisdom found among the aged? Does not long life bring understanding? Bakit? Bakit meron kang wisdom? Meron kang understanding kapag matanda ka na because of the experiences that you've been through. Okay? So the Bible again is very accurate in saying that wisdom and understanding increase during old age. At alam niyo, meron itong application. Kung ang mga matatanda ay punong-puno ng wisdom, meron tayong dalawang applications dito. Una, isa sa mga tao talaga na dapat nating pinagtatanungan ng mga advice kapag meron tayong pinagdaraanan is none other than old people. So kung meron kang kakilalang tao, kung meron kang kakilalang person in old age, siguro parents mo, lolo or lola mo, or neighbor mo, alam mo, itry mo lang. Magsabi ka sa kanya ng problema. Magsabi ka sa kanya ng personal na problema mo, humingi ka ng advice, malamang sa malamang, yung advice niya will make a lot of sense. Because most likely, yung pinagdaanan mo ngayon, because of that person's age, pinagdaanan na rin niya yan before. So, alam na niya kung ano ang gagawin. So, please, try nyo lang. If you have a personal problem going through right now, subukan nyo kumausap ng matanda. Subukan nyo humingi ng advice sa isang matanda, and I guarantee, what they will advise you will make a lot of sense. In fact, mas believe pa nga ako sa magiging advice ng matanda kumpara sa advice ng isang taong ka-age mo lang eh. Lalong-lalo na yung adolescents. Wala akong kabilib-bilib sa advice ng mga kaibigan ng mga adolescents, no? O baka nga karamihan ng advice ng kapwa mo adolescent palpak, 'di ba? Yung mga advice na ibibigay niya sa iyo idaan na lang sa bisyo, idaan na lang sa inuman, idaan na lang sa drugs. Again, hindi naman lahat ganun mag-advise, pero majority ang mga teenagers, their advice is not making sense compared to the advice coming from someone who is already old. Sa tingin ko, mas valid yung mga advice na maririnig mo from people in old age. Another application here is yung in the professional level. Alam nyo, yung mga best companies in the world, you know what do they have in common? They give respect to the wisdom of old people. Kaya karamihan sa mga companies na solid, talagang yung matatag na sila sa field, no? Bakit sila matatag sa field? They make the right decisions. Saan nanggagaling yung mga right decisions na ina-apply nila? Advices ng mga matatanda in the company. Kaya karamihan ng mga companies na solid, meron silang board of directors or board of advisors. At karamihan ng mga board of advisors, tignan mo yung kanilang mga age range, usually nasa old age. Kasi itong mga taong ito, punong-puno na sila ng wisdom in their field. So whenever they give advice to the company, it makes a lot of sense. Kaya nagiging fruitful yung company. Diba? So ito yung napakahalagang application talaga, no, na we need to give value to what old people have to say. Kasi sa society natin parang minamaliit natin yung mga matatanda, no? Yung meron tayong thinking na pag matanda na magpapahinga na lang, pag matanda na nood-nood na lang ng TV, enjoy na lang. You know what? They have a very important role in our society, and that is to guide the younger generation. And why is it that they are the best people to guide the younger generation? Because, again, of their experience. Punong-puno sila ng wisdom na pwede nilang i-communicate sa ating mga younger people. Okay, so I hope you realize this, that old people can still be useful. Stop the stigma. Ito yung pangalawang stigma. Yung unang stigma kanina, ang mga matatanda hindi na nakikipag-sex o hindi na kailangan ng sex. Pangalawang stigma, yung mga old people, wala nang mga silbi. Hindi maganda yan. Itigil natin yan. We need to take advantage what old people can do for us, and that is to give us wisdom, to give us or to guide us to make the right decisions in life. Kaya isa pang application dito, this time I'm talking to the old people talaga, no? Hindi maganda ang retirement. Oo, kapag ikaw matanda ka na tapos nag-retire ka na, hindi ibig sabihin no na matutulog ka na lang and then you wait for the day you die. Hindi dapat ganoon ang attitude. Remember that even if you're old, useful ka pa rin. And one of the major function of a person who is already old is to guide the younger generation through the wisdom na i-communicate mo sa kanila. Kaya alam nyo, merong mga ibang mga societies, they give a lot of respect to old people. You know, may mga companies like for example Starbucks in some countries, talagang nag-hire sila ng mga old people. Kasi they value the wisdom of these old people. 'Di ba? Kaya binibigyan sila ng trabaho. Oo, I forgot what country was this, no? But in some Starbucks branches, talagang meron silang certain percentage doon na ang i-hire nila dapat people in old age. Again, to communicate the idea that even if a person is already old, they can still be useful in certain ways. And i-promote ko lang din dito before we leave the cognitive development in old age, in the Bible, dalawang libro na highly recommended kong basahin nyo is the book of Ecclesiastes and the book of Proverbs. Kasi itong dalawang librong ito is believed to be written by people nung sila nasa old age na. Okay, so yung mga taong nasa old age na, marami silang natutunan about life, how you should live your life, what is the purpose of life, how you should deal with other people. It's all written in these two books, Ecclesiastes and Proverbs. In fact, kung titignan mo yung biblical studies, ano ang tawag mo sa Ecclesiastes and Proverbs? Anong category sila? They are called books of wisdom. Books of wisdom written by old people na marami ng pinagdaanan. So if you would like to be smarter, if you would like to make the right decisions in life, basahin nyo yung dalawang libro na yan from the Bible, Ecclesiastes and Proverbs. Lastly, let's move on to socio-emotional development during old age. Ano ba yung mga nangyayari during this time? Let's start with these words coming from Nikita Panin. Sabi niya, in youth, the days are short and the years are long. In old age, the years are short and the days are long. Gusto kong i-emphasize yung words na the days are long. Bakit naging long yung days ng mga taong matatanda? Because they are now free from responsibilities. Diba, wala na silang trabaho kasi nag-retire na sila. What else? Wala na rin silang mga anak na pinag-aaral o inaalagaan kasi lahat may sarili ng mga pamilya. So they have a lot of time per day. Kasi wala na silang mga responsibilities na dati-rating kumakain sa kanilang mga oras. So the question now here is, ano ang ginagawa ng mga matatanda during these long days? Sa dinami-dami ng oras na meron yung mga matatanda at their disposal, ano ba yung mga madalas nilang ginagawa? Number one, you need to understand the socio-emotional selectivity theory, no? O SST for short. Ibig sabihin nila ng SST, ang sinasabi ng theory is, yung mga matatanda, they spend a lot of their time with people that they truly value. Ibig sabihin, hindi na sila masyadong naghahanap ng mga new relationships. Quality over quantity. They spend more time, they invest their emotions to people who really matter to them. I-contrast mo ito during the younger years, adolescence and young adulthood. During adolescence and young adulthood, yung pattern of relationships mo dyan, sabog scattered. You want to meet as many people as you can, no? For the purpose of what? Personal and professional growth. Diba? Gusto mo lumawak yung network mo. Pero during old age, yung network mo, ayaw mo nang masyadong kalat. Ayaw mo nang masyadong malaki. Kasi nare-realize mo na konti na lang yung oras mo, konti na lang yung energy mo, you can no longer maintain all relationships that you have formed in the past. So, anong ginagawa mo? Pipili ka na lang ng mga mangilan-ngilan that really matters to you. Usually naman yung mga pinipili ng mga matatanda, of course, yung relationship nila with the wife, with their sons and daughters, grandchildren, o yung kanilang mga in-laws, yan. Pero yung mga friends, yung mga barkada, no, unless so super close sila, hindi na ganun kalakas. Kasi nga, limited na lang yung time, limited na lang yung emotions, they only select people who really matter to them. Kaya one application that we can learn here is, if you want to make old people happy, you satisfy their desire for quality. Isang paraan ito para magpasaya ng matanda, no? Yung spend more time with them. Lalong-lalo na kapag alam mo na ikaw yung isa sa mga pinili niya, to invest their emotions with, or to invest their remaining of their time with. Kung konti na lang yung oras nila, sa mundo, pinili ka nila para to spend their remaining times with, sana pagbigyan mo sila. That's one way for us to make old people happy. Ibigay natin yung mga relationships talagang tinetreasure nila. Spend more time with their sons, with their daughters, with their grandparents, so on and so forth. And honestly, ito kasi challenge ito Maraming tao during this time, syempre, di ba pinag-aaralan natin ito sa middle adulthood, meron na sila kanya-kanyang mga pamilya. Okay? They have a family to take care of, pero meron din silang mga aging parents who are longing for their company. So kung ikaw ay nasa middle age, at alam mo, itong sinasabi kong ito, di ba? Kinakailangan na magme-make ka talaga ng effort to still visit your parents. Kasi remember, hindi na sila magtatagal. So you really have to give them what they want. And one way to make them happy in this life before they go is definitely to satisfy their desire for quality. Bisitahin natin sila, dali natin yung kanilang mga apo sa kanila, spend more time with them, lalong-lalo na yung mga holidays and special occasions. They really need to feel that they are not alone. They need to feel that they are not growing old alone. Lalong-lalo na kapag nabiyuda na yung isang taong in old age, Malaking tulong kapag nararamdaman niya na yung mga taong pinanghahalagahan niya ay pinanghahalagahan din siya. So I hope that helps, in how to make old people happy. During this time, ang mga matatanda, nag-undergo din sila ng life review, or this is a psychological process where they look back. Nagka-flashback sa kanila yung mga younger years nila, yung mga key experiences nila, yung mga favorite events nila na nangyari in their personal life. Ibang-iba ito during young adulthood and middle adulthood, di ba? Sa young adulthood kasi usually, and middle adulthood, it's about looking ahead. Di ba? Ano yung next na bibiling kong kotse? Ano yung next project na papasukin ko? Ano yung next investment na gagawin ko? Usually, forward-looking ang mga yan Pero old age, baliktad na. It's more on backward-looking. And it makes sense kasi when they look forward, wala na sila masyadong nakikita other than the impending death. Oo. So, logical lang na talagang kapag sila nagkukwento o yung consciousness nila, ang laging laman yan are the things in the past. At alam nyo, meron itong application. If you want to talk to an old person at gusto mo talaga ma-prolong yung inyong usapan, ang favorite topic ng isang matanda, yung past events sa kanyang buhay. So how do you talk to a lolo? How do you talk to a lola? Tanungin mo sila about their past experiences. Bigyan mo sila ng mga opportunity to share their wisdom with you. Bigyan mo sila ng opportunity to share their stories with you. Alam nyo, studies are showing na malakas itong magpasaya ng mga matatanda. So, one way magpasaya ng matanda, tinuro ko kanina, yon? Give them the quality that they desire. Number 2, talk to them about their past. And they are more than willing to share to you their past. Yun nga lang, ang isang downside nito is, karamihan talaga ng matatanda when they talk about their past, mahirap huminto yan. Oo, kaya gawin mo ito kapag wala kang appointment. Kasi kapag nakipagkwentuhan ka sa matanda at may appointment ka, malamang sa malamang, malilate ka. Oo, walang tigil kasi yan, marami siyang ikukwento, Oo, pero this is really one way for us to make old people happy, to make them feel that they matter. We listen to their stories of their past. In fact, in relation to that, ito rin yung sinasabi ni Erik Erikson. According to Erik Erikson, ang mga taong matatanda, they are in a stage where they are coming to terms with death. They are in the task of accepting their impending death. Yan yung sinasabi ni Eric Erickson, no? To be more specific, ito yung tinatawag nating integrity versus despair. So, ang mga matatanda, ang pinaka-challenge nila at this stage is kung matatanggap ba nila na handa na ba silang mamatay. Di ba? Pag despair, sabi ni Eric Erickson, kapag hindi masyadong maganda yung pagproseso ng matanda, nandoon siya sa despair. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa siya ready mamatay, nagkakaroon siya ng maraming regrets. Okay? So, whenever an old person looks at the past, tapos puro regrets yung nararamdaman niya, marami siyang mga bagay na hindi nagawa. I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have took more risks, so on and so forth. Yung regrets na yon will make the old person feel despair. And most likely, yung mga matatandang ito, hindi pa sila ready mamatay at marami sa kanila na di-depress. Dahil sa dami nilang pagsisisi, na gusto nilang bumalik sa dati para magawa nila yung mga bagay na hindi nila nagawa before, but it's too late. You cannot go back into the past. Okay, yun yung despair side na sinasabi ni Eric Erickson, a very terrible phase or a very terrible situation to be in. No? Kung ikaw ay isang matanda, ayaw mong ganyan. Biruin mo yun, araw-araw kinakain ka ng regrets mo. Pero alam mo na malapit ka nang mawala, that's not good for your psyche. Sabi ni Eric Erickson, people in old age na maganda ang condition ng kanilang mga spirits o ng kanilang mga psyche must be in the integrity side. Ibig sabihin, they have now accepted death is coming and they are more than willing to meet death. Handa na silang mamatay. Graceful exit. Bakit? Kasi wala na silang pagsisisi sa kanilang mga buhay. Parang meron na silang sense na I've done everything I want to do. I have accomplished all the things that I need to accomplish. Therefore, I'm ready to die. Yan ang magandang attitude towards death para sa isang matanda. Yung wala kang pagsisisi, handang-handa ka na mamatay because all of the things that you want to do, nagawa mo na. Diba? In the Bible, yung expression ni Apostle Paul, very tugmang-tugma dito. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. If you can say these words as an old person, yung talagang handa ka nang mamatay because you have fought the good fight, then ibig sabihin, nandoon ka sa integrity side of your development during old age. In Philippians, sinabi rin na naman to, another expression of integrity. For to me, to live is Christ and to die is gain. If I am to go on living in the body, this will mean fruitful labor for me. Yet, what shall I choose? I do not know. I am torn between the two. I desire to depart and be with Christ. Ibig sabihin, okay siya kung mamamatay siya, which is better by far, but it is more necessary for you that I remain in the body. So, itong mga words na ito ni Apostle Paul nagpapakita na talagang hindi siya takot mamatay. In fact, parang ang motto niya dito is, come what may. Kahit anong mangyari, kung mamatay ako, good for me. Kung mabuhay pa ako, good for me. Yan yung nasa integrity side. Talagang kapag ang isang matanda, ganun yung pananaw niya about the remaining of his or her time. We can say na nasa magandang psychological condition yung matanda na yun. Ang tanong, paano? Diba? Let's say you know someone who is old. Paano mo siya matutulungan na mapunta siya doon sa integrity at hindi doon sa despair? Good news, meron namang mga pwedeng gawin dyan, kung paano natin tutulungan yung mga matatanda to be in the integrity side towards death. Like for example, in this journal article, ang sinasabi dito sa article na ito, one way for you to help an old person to come to terms in death, yung maging maganda yung pananaw niya towards death is you lead them to interpret their past events positively. Kasi lahat naman ng matatanda laging may mga regrets yan. Magkukwento yan ng mga regrets nila. Magkukwento yan ng mga negative experiences nila in the past. Magkukwento yan ng mga bitterness na naranasan nila caused by people that they know. Pero, doon nga papasok yung skill ng isang psych major o ng isang psych professional. Whenever these old people are telling you these stories, nag-share sila ng bitterness, nag-share sila ng mga negative feelings about their past. Ang dapat mong gawin, i-reframe mo. I-lead mo sila to see those negative things as something to be positive. Huwag ka dapat mag-agree sa kanila na yung na-experience nila talagang pangit nga, kawawa naman sila, kasi you will just add self-pity on them. You will just put gas on the burning fire of their regrets. Diba? Kasi kapag nagkukwento na nga sila ng regrets nila sa'yo, tapos nire-reinforce mo pa, sinasabi mo pang talagang kaawa-awa nga yung pinagdaanan nila, the more silang nag-i-stay doon sa regret. So, ang dapat mong gawin whenever they share negative things, negative events in their life, dapat i-frame mo, ipapa-interpret mo sa kanila yung mga negative things na yon as something to be very positive. That those negative things happened for a reason. Kaya nga in the Bible, di ba, paulit-ulit tinuturo yung ganyang spiritual skill. The spiritual skill of interpreting negative things in a good way. Diba? I think marami akong video na ginawa nun, no? O hanapin nyo lang sa channel ko. But, again, Philippians 4:8, whatever is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, praiseworthy, what do? You think about such things. The same thing, when you are leading an old person to be in the integrity side, para matanggap niya yung impending death niya ng maganda, dapat ganito ang training mo sa kanya. Ituro mo sa kanya na yung mga negative things na nangyari sa kanya in the past are actually good things. It led to certain good things na na-experience nung matanda. Romans 8:28, yung life verse ko. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Diba? Na lahat ng pangit na nangyari sa'yo, merong magandang purpose yan. Kaya nangyari sa iyo yan. Kapag i-train mo yung isang matanda to look at life that way, to look at those negative experiences in the past that way, malaki ang chance that old person talaga magiging maganda yung kanyang pananaw about death. Mawawala yung mga regrets niya, marirealize niya na oo nga, no? Lahat ng bagay na yon nangyari yon for a reason. And the reason is because God loves me so much that He wants me to experience those things. Kaya hindi ako dapat maging bitter. Okay? During this time, old age, tumataas din yung spirituality ng mga tao. Ibig sabihin, mas nagiging concerned na sila sa needs ng kanilang soul component. Remember, in my model of psychology, the soul is a component of the overall spirit. Diba? During old age, mas pinaprioritize na ng mga matatanda yung needs ng kanilang soul. Tulad ng ano ba yung mga needs ng soul? The need to be connected with God. The need to read the Word of God, the need to do good to other people, the need to guide the younger generation. Lahat yan mga components of the soul yan. During this time, ang mga matatanda talagang inuuna na nila yung mga needs ng kanilang soul. In one journal article, for example, ang sinasabi sa journal article na ito ang mga matatanda, karamihan sa kanila kapag nai-stress sila, they go to their spirituality. They go to their religion to help them cope with the stress that they are undergoing. So they pray, they spend time with their church mates, kapag nai-stress sila. So ang sinasabi natin dito, during old age talaga, napakalaking part, napakahalaga talaga ng spirituality sa isang tao who is in old age. It is very important for a person in old age to learn the skill of opening up to God. As recorded in this journal article, yung mga matatanda na nag-open up kay God, directly talks to God, reads the Bible, prays, goes to church every Sunday, goes to fellowship of their churches, sila talaga yung mga magagaling mag-handle ng stress. Nakakababa ng stress yung mga ginagawa nila in enhancing their souls. In fact, in one study, or I think it is also in this study, ang mga matatanda na very spiritual, sila pala yung mga mas sumahaba ang mga buhay. So again, when you satisfy the needs of your soul during this time, merong mga magandang effect na nangyayari. But again, let me remind you na yung soul component mo, existing yan as long as you are alive. So I think it is already a little bit late kapag i-prioritize mo pa yung soul mo kung kailan ka pa matanda. After all, baka nga hindi ka umabot ng pagtanda, no? So, ang point ko lang dito is, anywhere you are in the developmental chapter of life, kinakailangan talaga lagi mong binibigay yung needs ng soul mo. Hindi yung kung kailan ka matanda, doon ka magiging concern sa soul mo, no? Ngayon pa lang, college ka pa lang, dapat pinaprioritize mo na yung need ng iyong soul. You need to be reading God's Word every day. You need to be talking to God every day. Please, prioritize your spirituality. It's good for your overall psychological health, no? So, yun na nga, yung mga matatanda, one way that they deal with their stress is when they join their spiritual groups or their spiritual family. Okay, as we close, let's move on to number 2. In closing, so ano ba yung mga pwede nating gawin to age gracefully? In number 1, na ipakita ko sa inyo, na balanse ko sa inyo, no, na ang pagiging matanda, hindi lang puro losses, meron ding gains. Ang dami kong diniscuss na magagandang bagay during old age, no? So sana, na-achieve ko yung goal ko for number 1, na napatunayan ko sa inyo that aging is not all about losses. No, number 2, how do you age gracefully? How do you age with integrity, in the language of Erik Erikson, di ba? Paano ba maging graceful exit? Paano ba tumanda ng positibo? Okay. Well, alam nyo, fortunately, marami na mga research ang nagawa dyan. I mean, thousands and thousands of journal articles have been written to address that question. How do you age gracefully? Now, maraming sagot dyan. Maraming ways, maraming paraan to age gracefully, pero ang didiscuss lang natin ngayon is the 5 most common na lumalabas sa mga researches. Okay? Ito yung mga 5 na kapag gawin mo, most likely will make your aging experience a very positive one. Especially if you are already in old age. Number 1, tulad nga na sinasabi ko kanina, no? People in old age, they experience old age positively when they prioritize their spirituality. Let me repeat, mas nagiging maganda yung overall experience ng isang matanda during old age kapag pinaprioritize niya yung kanyang spirituality. Isaiah 46 verse 4, and even to your old age I am He, and even to hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made and I will bear, even I will carry and will deliver you. So, ang sinasabi dito, ang Diyos ang nagsasalita. Kapag pinarioritize mo yung spirituality mo, if you are always close with Him, you read the Bible, you pray, you do spiritual activities, you meditate, you help other people, anong pinapangako ng Isaiah? God will be with you. Kahit gray na raw yung hair mo, God will sustain you. That's how important it is for old people to really prioritize their spirituality, their relationship with God. Psalm 91:16, with long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. Kapag tinupad mo, no, yung kapag pinaprioritize mo raw yung spirituality mo during old age, ano ang isang pangako? According to God Himself, I will satisfy you. You will be satisfied. And every time I hear the word satisfied in the context of old age, talagang naiisip ko yung sinasabi ni Erik Erikson on integrity. I think pwede mong i-relate yun the word satisfaction with integrity. You are satisfied so much in life that you are ready to go anytime. Diba? You can directly say to God, God, kung kailan nyo kukunin, ready na ako. Handang-handa na ako. Because I've done all the things that I wanted to do. I feel like I've done all the things that you wanted me to do, and so you can take me anytime. At marami akong kilalang mga matatanda na kayang sabihin yan. You know, these old people talaga, they are so satisfied with their life that they can go anytime. And again, how do you achieve that? By enhancing your spirituality. Okay, number 2, physical activity and healthy diet, lumalabas din sa mga researches yan. Ibig sabihin, again, mas nag-exercise ka, mas nagiging healthy ka during your younger years. Pagdating mo ng old age, hindi ganun katindi yung negative effects of physical decline. So, if you want to stay healthy during old age, hindi ganun karami yung sakit mo, hindi ka madalas ino-operahan, you start early in terms of physical activity and healthy diet. Again, tulad nga na sinabi ko kanina, medyo late na kung magsisimula ka palang mag-exercise at mag-healthy diet at age 60. Physical exercise and healthy diet must start as young as possible para pagdating mo ng old age, hindi ganun karami yung sakit mo physically. Number 3, diniscuss din natin kanina to, no? Dapat tuloy-tuloy lang yung mental activity mo. As long as you are alive, you have to keep your brain working. Read books, gain more degrees, train yourself. Marami na lang ngayon na maraming mga skills kang pwede matutunan ngayon through YouTube. It's a good habit to learn one skill every month. Mag-solve ka ng mga puzzles, again, anything. Basta patuloy mong ginagamit yung iyong pag-iisip, as you age, mas magiging maganda yung iyong experience. Number 4, huwag mong kalilimutan yung social engagement. Lalong-lalo na marami mga matatanda, kapag matanda na, because of their physical limitations, sinasacrifice nila yung fellowship nila with their friends. Diba? Yung hindi na lang sila pupunta sa gathering kasi matanda na sila, maintindihan naman nila. Well, guess what? Although this is a valid point, but you also have to understand that you also have a social need. Bilang matanda, meron ka ring need for interpersonal interaction with other people. So, hindi dapat nawawala yan. Okay? Constantly, dapat lagi kang may kausap. Constantly, dapat lagi kang merong ka-interact. Kaya alam nyo, studies show na itong social engagement na ito, mas kailangan ito ng mga widowers at saka ng mga widows, no? Yung mga nabiyudo at mga nabiyuda. Oo, kasi karamihan daw sa mga nabiyudo at mga nabiyuda, sila ro yung mga mahihina ang social engagement. Nung namatay na yung partner nila, they have a tendency to move away from the society, to move away from everyday interactions that is not good. No, kinakailangan bilang isang matanda, talagang dapat meron kang pagkukusa na mag-initiate ng interaction with other people. And the same thing with people surrounding an old person. Diba? Wag naman natin laging antayin lang yung mga matatanda na sila pa yung pupunta sa atin, para mabisita sila. Bilang dahil napanood mo yung video na ito, dapat alam mo na maraming pagkakataon ikaw dapat nag-i-initiate ng interaction sa isang matanda. Lalong-lalo na kung yung matanda nanay mo, tatay mo, or lolo mo, or lola mo. Okay? And last one, number 5, according to research, para maging maganda ang iyong old age experience, you need to be continuing your purpose or developing new purpose in life. Ibig sabihin talagang hindi ka magre-retire. Kaya ang sinasabi ko kanina, hindi maganda ang retirement sa isang matanda. Well, you can retire officially from your work, pero hindi ibig sabihin nun, after that, wala ka nang gagawin. Hahanap ka dapat ng substitute work after your official retirement from your official work. Halimbawa, teacher ka, and I know a lot of people doing this. They were teachers for the past 35 years and then they retired. Pero yung mga taong kilala kong ginagawa tong principle na ito, after they retire, teacher pa rin sila. Only, hindi na doon sa university where they work from. Nagiging teacher sila in some other context. Nagiging Sunday school teacher sila, nagiging teacher sila sa mga daycares, or gumagawa sila ng mga online courses nila. So they are still teachers. They don't stop. Because they know that their calling is to teach, their calling is to share knowledge. So even after they are retired from the school, tinutuloy-tuloy pa rin nila yung purpose nila. Or kung pwede rin, new purpose. Hahanap sila ng bagong purpose nila, bagong mission nila na gagawin nila in their life. Basta ang point lang, hindi maganda sa matanda ang walang ginagawa. If we want our old age to be very positive, the majority of our time must be spent fulfilling the purpose that God has given us. Okay? In closing, let me just leave you with these words coming again from the book of Psalms about aging. Even when I am old and gray, do not forsake me, O God, till I declare your power to the next generation, your might to all who are to come. Di ba, ang maganda dito kay David, napaka-positive ng experience niya in aging. Bakit? Kasi, tinan niyo yung prayer niya dito, oh. Kahit na matanda na siya, anong sabi niya? Tulungan niyo po ako na i-fulfill pa rin yung purpose ko. And my purpose is to make your name known to the next generation. That is a very healthy way. That is a very, very healthy perspective of old age. Diba? The way David saw old age, this is not a time to relax. This is not a time to do leisure activities, but this is a time to further continue my mission, which is to fulfill my duty to God. So, dapat ganyan yung pananaw natin in old age. The more you do those 5, ito, yung 5 factors, the more you do this, the more mas nagiging positive yung experience ng isang tao who is in old age. So, if you know someone who is in old age, alam nyo, pwede nyo itong gamitin as gauge eh. Kung maganda ba yung old age experience ng taong yon, no? Isa-isahin mo. Okay ba siya spirituality? Okay ba siya sa physical, health, mental, social, and continuing purpose? The more yes that you answer in this 5, mas maganda yung experience ng matandang yan. Okay, so yung mga kakilala nyo matatanda na sa tingin nyo kulang dito sa 5, then maybe you can teach them on how to enhance these 5 factors for a more positive old age. So thank you for listening. I hope you've learned a lot from this lecture on old age. Until next time that I see you.